Hey guys, good evening. It's Simon. It's the 21st of May, Monday. Doing a trade review. We had a really good day trading today. Wanted to do a trade review and kind of explain what the setup entailed and why we were looking for shorts early this morning, and kind of give you a lay of the land of what set up a winning trade. That's really what the goal is of the video tonight, is to go, okay, we had one really great trade in the room. Everything lined up perfectly. And I want to show you what the pieces were so that you can put them together for yourself. So let's see if we get started. Before we get rolling, just a quick reminder, past performance is not indicative of future results. This is for educational purposes only, not encouraging anyone to buy or sell any kind of equities or futures or options. There's large potential risks, but also large potential rewards in trading. You can blow yourself up. I encourage every single person out there, have a trading plan. Know that you can make money paper trading first, and then you might be able to make money, real money trading. I encourage people to get mentors. Makes a huge difference in your success curve. And you're trading against the best out there. And I used to be a little bit shy about the whole mentor thing. I really think it's the best way to cut corners and boost your success quickly is by finding a mentor who can really help you and guide you through the day trading jungle and get you to profitability relatively quickly. So that's my 2 cents. Don't lose your money, guys. You work too hard for it. It goes away too quickly, and the rewards are there if you'll find them. So let's get started. We're just going to focus on ES. And so first I wanted to kind of give you the lay of the land before we walked in today. So everyone knows we gapped on the Hong Kong, China news. And there was a couple things that were odd about the gap this morning that I pointed out in the market preview. The first of which was we were unable to make it above last week's high. That needed to be taken out, and they just couldn't do it right there at 27.4150. So we were then left with a couple of questions, right? So we clearly weren't above last week's high, so that's somewhat muted bullishness. It had to get above 27.41. But then if you take an even closer look, what you'll see is what we really had to do was maintain above 27.31 to really, I would say, this 27.29 area. I guess it was 27.30, 27.32 neighborhood was really critical that we held above it. Why is that? Well, if you look back to the left just a little bit, you'll see that in this area, here, let me try to drag this without losing it. So this is the old 27.30.32, and you'll see that we attempted multiple times way back in March to close above, and we couldn't do it. When we did get back above, we were able to rally, right? And then you'll see again, they tried multiple times here back on March 19th and March 21st to get above 27.30.32. We just could not do it, right? So this morning, obviously, the first thing I'm going to write down, or the first thing I'm going to be interested in, is 27.4150 and then 27.30.32. What was the next big consideration looking at the day? We were gapping up. We were gapping up above prior day's high. That's right over here on a volume profile, right, which was roughly 27.20. Okay, so that's bullish. That's good. You definitely wanted to see it hold above prior day's high. The next thing that we were looking at is we could not make it. While we did make it over the last swing, we couldn't make it back above Monday's high. So again, really for me, the question was going to be, could they get it above 27.30.32 or not? And then the last question is, how far can it extend? And I talk about this a lot in the room. And if you're not familiar with trading the ES, I've been trading it for 20 years, right? ES tends to run out of juice between 20 and 25 points up. We went out at 27.13 on Friday. That means about 27.32 to 27.38 is where this thing's going to run out of juice. And that would put you right about, shockingly, here. You don't even have to have a special chart for that. ES runs out of juice about 20 to 25 points up. Be aware of it. That's an area where I will always be looking to fade the market, is when we're up 20 to 25 points. If you're buying when ES is up 25 points, historically, when I say historically, the last 40 years, you are begging for the market to smoke you to the short side. So if you have some kind of emotional attachment to buying when the market's up, sure, I can find a handful of days when we were already up 25 and we tacked on 35 points. but you are on the losing side of that bet the gross majority of the time. This is a game of odds. Don't put yourself in that position. So we were left with a bit of conundrum when we gapped up. If you look at how the day unfolded, these are 30-minute blocks. Excuse me, these are 30-minute blocks, and you can see right out of the gate, right? See how the markets run at. This is half an hour. See how we've almost immediately we ran to 27.38, ran out of juice, pulled back. Then we ran up to 27, almost 27.40, ran out of juice again. Also, NQ was really having a hard time maintaining any momentum to the upside. That's another story, but it was acting as an anchor on the market. Okay, so that's the first part of the story for the day. What's the next part of the story? If you go over and look at our charts, I think I have right here. There we go. These were the zones for today. Again, we're going to focus. There you can see NQ just had no oomph, even when, and here was what was clear between the two. Look when NQ, this is right here. I'm going to highlight this so you can see it. So this is after the first hour. That's 9:40. This is 9:40 on ES. Notice ES broke to a new high. NQ couldn't even get halfway back to its high, right? Why is that a problem? Because if you look over the past 2 weeks, every time the market has rallied, NQ has pushed the market significantly and ES has followed, right? So ES has not been the leader, and NQ was showing clear weakness to the downside. Also, NQ is about exhausted into a key location as well. So let's go focus on ES for a sec. So what you'll notice, these yellow zones, these are each key trade locations, both long and short, depending on which side you arrive on. These charts are posted to the members overnight. And what you'll see here is we did our first push into the yellow zone, rejected out of it. That made perfect sense. We did it in the first half hour. But then the best trade on these yellow zones is when we can trade below. And I'm going to see if I can highlight this. I want to trade below it and into it. I like to establish above. And then if I can get back below, the back below is what really seals the deal on this and causes long liquidation. Same thing here. Bouncing off the front of the zone is great, but what I really love on these zones is when we trade behind, get back above, really generates nice pushes back to the upside. And you can see both of these zones, the 34 to 37 area and the 28 to 26, these were just spot on in terms of great areas to lay in risk for contra location trades for both longs and shorts, right? So when we came into the day, we had a plan, right? We knew over 25 it would be difficult for the market to push. We knew that we had the possibility of letting the market push, so we wanted to see some evidence of it coming down. So besides the zones, what provides the evidence? And that's where the algo comes in. I want to show you this really quick. So if I minimize this, and so what does this tell me? This is one of our key tools when we're trading in the room. And it tells me actually a bunch of stuff. First of all, the little yellow dotted lines are VWAP, and this is what I call my radar screen. And the yellow, green, and red line, what I want to try and do is make sure that I'm placing my trades above that yellow line. All my shorts have to be above that yellow line. All my longs, I want them to be below this yellow line, and preferably the deeper it goes, the better the trade. So what you'll see here, this is the first half hour. I don't particularly care about it one way or the other, although that set up a nice short, but this is what I really cared about. And if you look, what was interesting is, see this delta? It was huge. This is the single biggest. This is a 1.5 range bar. This is the single biggest push, the highest delta the entire day. And what that tells me is once I get underneath this delta, right? Once I trade underneath him and I get over here, I know I have huge odds of getting a beautiful roll back to the downside. Why? Two things have occurred. First of all, when we were up here, we were at 25 to 30 points up on the day. I know that the market will get exhausted, right? Number two thing that I know is I had the best buyer of the day come in on this bar, specifically right here. The algo highlights that trade location for me and gives me a heads up that I'm about ready to find short location. And again, if you had been in the room, I said what the target was actually the other side of the range, because if this failed, it was probably going to fail pretty spectacularly. Last piece. We get the trade underneath, and what you'll see here, if I come in the room, I'm going to drag this over. This is the members Twitter stream, and you cannot do better than this in terms of accuracy. You'll see the zones are already posted for tomorrow, and what you'll see is shorting 20, and I'm going to show you the time. This is on California time. So this is at 8:05, 9:05, 10:05 a.m. my time, Central Standard Time. Short 27.3650 against 27.4050. That was the trade. And what you will see is it took a little bit, but they actually came right back. That was at 10:05. That's right, basically between here and here. And you'll see right on this bar, they come back up. This bar closed down here. They come back up to fill us the 36.50, and we get almost an immediate roll and beautiful push back to the downside. You can see from the 10:03 by 10:26, we were already pushing down towards 27.29. So then the next natural question is, so that's great. We had a plan. We had trade location. We had the algo helping us out identifying the best buyer for the day, right? And so how do we manage a trade like that? This is the beautiful part of being in the room, right? Is that we do have a plan both for entry, exit, and stop. What you'll see is we short the 27.36 against the 27.40.50. I was saying not filled yet, filled 26.36.50. You'll see I posted that at 8:10 a.m., right? And then you'll see clear targets right out of the gate, right? I said targets are 2, then 4 points. Michael, who's in the room, was asking about that. I put the targets as initial targets as 2 and 4 points for the first scales, and then trail down. And then you can see I moved my stop to net break even. Then I moved it to true break even. Finally, the 27.3250 got done. You can see on time wise, I got done by 8:25 a.m. And then finally, right, you can see right over here, as we were pushing down, I moved the stop to break even. I was out 2/3 of the trade. We'd already gotten 4 points out of the trade. Now 27.50 puts us at +9 plus small scales. And then I was pretty much done at the point and ready to go to lunch. That's a great trading day on a day like today. What did we do? We let late buyers. So if you really look at what we were doing here, right, what we were doing, we came over the last swing high, and I'm going to do something here real quick. I'm going to hide this so everyone can see this. It gets cleaned up a little bit. We're going to erase all lines. Think about the psychology behind this for just a second. Even if you didn't have a support and resistance line here, what's going on here? And I'm going to answer that. What's going on here is you've broken the last swing high, right? People are thinking, oh, we're going to break out to a new high and trend day up, particularly people who don't have a respect for what the average range is in the S&P 500, right? And what they're doing, this is the best buyer of the day. So think about this for just a second psychologically, right? If this is the strongest buyer of the day and you get underneath them, guess what that guy is going to do? I want you to think about this because this is important in thinking about your opposition and who's going to help you make money and who's going to take money away from you. Once you get underneath this guy, everyone above is trapped. Once you get below, see right here, this group of guys was feeling pretty confident up here. But once you get underneath them, right over here, right, and you'll see that big push right there. Once you get underneath them, they are now going to long liquidate because you have now forced them. Everyone, this is the biggest buyer. You trapped him, no big deal. But once you got underneath these guys, everyone above here was no longer confident and they turned seller. And if you look off to the left, right, see how we spent no time sideways consolidating? There's no reason for these guys to defend, particularly the second time back. And you end up with a long liquidation, and then you end up with balance on the day. So at any rate, long story short, this pushes us right in. And if you'll notice the size of that rotation, if you understand rotations in ES, it's very important. 27.39, right? 27.29, and then you tack on another 5 points. It's a 15-point rotation, time and a half. The average rotation is 10 points. And you were then coming back into, and I want to show you this because it's important, you're then coming right into a support resistance zone on ES. Again, we traded behind, above. That gives you the long. I didn't take the long at, excuse me, set that. No, that's right. I did not take the long at 10:30 a.m. I was simply covering the short. And so there's one more piece to that. If I could have done my homework, and how could have I done today better? When I go back and look at this area as to whether or not I should have flipped, I saw the aggressive opening of expansion as potentially pushing back into Friday's high, and I didn't want to take the long. However, if I go back to the algo, guys, and this is pretty important, if I go back to the algo, what I should have done is, particularly considering what an all-star trade that was put on, I should have come back in right here. See this star? We had a push down here. So this is not an indication. I really would have wanted this at the very top of the swing. It just didn't set up. But this right here showed me that buyers were back in control. That star is a big, long indication for me right here. It's a combination of indicators that I use. And I just know when I have that star, just like when I get the star over here, I know I'm likely to push to the upside. I knew that I was likely to push to the upside. And while I wasn't short, I sure should have flipped to the long side there. I doubt I would have held through this nightmarish chop festival that we had through New York lunch. But this would have made a nice second rebound, especially considering we were into a significant support resistance area. So what's my coaching tip for the night? How can we improve for tomorrow? What did we do well today? What can we improve for tomorrow? So what we did really well was we knew that we were in the correct general area up here, up 20 to 30 points. We know we're looking for shorts. We executed the short. We managed to let our trailer come all the way through to be able to capture this 10-point move to the downside. What we did poorly, or actually it was a 15-point move. What I did poorly was I failed to flip on this and get long down here. And that's an area I'll look to improve on because overall we are in balance. And basically the rule of thumb right now is to sell the rips and buy the dips. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing tomorrow. So anyone who'd like to join us. So important message at the end of this. And I think it's important. If you'd like to join us, the rates for the room go up at the end of the month. They're going up to about $200 a month. You can join the room right now for $99 a month. And for members who join right now, your membership price is locked until for 1 year, till this time next year at $99 a month. It goes up to $200 next month. That's not hype. I believe the room is completely worth it. We've had 6 days in a row of profitability in the room. And when you're able to accomplish things like that, you can do really special things to turn your trading from boom bust to consistent profitability. It's really an amazing thing. So if you'd like a trial, email me at tradertough, TraderTough @gmail.com. And I'm happy to send you a 5-day pass. And again, till the end of the month, it's $99 a month to join. After the end of the month, it will go to $200 a month. So now's the time to act. Anyways, I hope you've had a great day, and I will look forward to seeing everybody in the morning. Have a great night.